So we're going to start by forming the centre of our peony, beginning with the stigma. So I've got an 18 gauge wire here, and I've also got some pale green flower paste. So it's just a homemade flower paste which I've coloured a sort of pale green. And I'm going to begin by just breaking off a small amount. And this is probably about an 8mm ball size. So you want to just roll it into a ball, and then I'm going to form it into a teardrop shape. So just squeezing it between your fingers and rolling to make this teardrop shape. And I'm just going to take some egg white and dip the wire into the egg white and then insert that into the teardrop, so the base of the teardrop. And we're now just going to form this onto the wire to secure it. So I'm just kind of pinching and narrowing the end to make sure it's nice and secure. I've slightly elongated it as well. So I'm now going to take my pliers and I'm going to take my Dresden tool first, and I'm just going to make a sort of indent like that and pull it along to the tip. And now take my pliers and just make a little indent. So it's not quite all the way down at the bit that I sort of stretched out and thinned. But you can sort of see that sort of shape now. And then I'm just going to use my Dresden tool to just sort of thin and stretch this up. So you have this kind of shape. And then you want to let this dry completely before adding 5 more. But if you don't let this firm up completely, then you'll find it really difficult to attach the next ones. So I have one that I've already made here. And so I'm now going to do pretty much the exact same thing, but just making 5 of them. And you will find that different peonies have a different amount of these little green bits in the centre. So you can vary it slightly, but I'm going to do 1 central and then 5 around it. But you will notice that some only have sort of 3 and some have 4. So it really depends. So what I'm going to do is just roll my 5 little balls first. Okay, and then shape them into the teardrop shape again. And then take your Dresden tool and just make this indent and sort of stretch along to the tip. Then take your pliers, or you could use tweezers as well if you don't have pliers like these, and just pinch these bits together. And each one's going to look slightly different. I'm not going for a uniform approach here. Okay. And then I'm just going to have a little play with the tip and make each one nice and thin and slightly different. It can be moving in a slightly different direction. Okay, so now I've got my one that's dried here. So this is actually dried overnight. And I'm going to add egg white all around the largest part. So just avoiding the sort of thin tip part. And then I'm just going to one by one just attach each of the ones that I've just made around the centre. Sometimes it can be a bit fiddly, but just try and like squeeze and shape it as you go to get them to all fit on. You can add some egg white to the sides of them as well if that helps to stick. So I'll just add the last one in here. So I'm now just going to manoeuvre it slightly by sort of squeezing, and you can kind of pinch the bottom together, but you're actually not going to see the bottom, so I wouldn't worry too much about what that looks like. Okay. And I'm going to have each of the outer ones sitting slightly higher than the middle one, and just kind of tease the narrow bits so that they're all kind of pointing in different directions to give a nice natural look. So we're then going to let this dry up completely, and then we will dust it and add little pink tips to it as well.